And welcome to Lost History, a series where I map out the lives of our favorite Lost characters. I know, it sounds complicated, but let me tell you. The real complicated part is making sure I can actually post my videos and not get copyrighted. But I'm still gonna do it because...
Don't tell me what I can't do.
You tell him, John. Today's episode is all about Danielle Russo. Granted, we don't know a lot about Russo because she comes and goes as she pleases, but we can try to piece something together. So, here's what we do know. Danielle Russo is a highly intelligent scientist who knows 6 languages: French, English, German, Spanish, Italian, and Russian. We also know she joins a research team. The team consists of 6 people: Danielle herself, her partner and baby daddy Robert, the leader Montan, Nadine, Brennan, and Lacombe. On November 15, 1987, while 4 months pregnant, Danielle and her team sets off from Tahiti. About 3 months go by and they're making the trip home, and the team is 3 days away from docking and being done with their expedition, when they hear a transmission of mysterious numbers. Thinking it may be important, they go check it out. A big storm happens, and one thing leads to another, and the crew ends up on a life raft. While on the life raft, they see a guy floating on some driftwood, so they go to save him, and together they all drift ashore onto an island. Their castaway finally wakes up, and Danielle is the first person to talk to him.
What is your name?
Guan Jinsu. Jin.
Hello, Jin. I'm Danielle. Danielle Russo.
Initially, it's hard to communicate because their castaway Jin doesn't really speak a lot of English. With the help of some Pictionary, they're able to talk their new friend into taking them to the radio tower on the island. So they set off all together through the jungle. Now, this next part isn't super important to Danielle's story, but I think it's cute, so I'm gonna add it.
Danielle, qu'est-ce qu'il y a?
Rien. C'est rien,
Je savais que c'était une erreur. T'es enceinte de 7 mois.
Robert, ça va. Elle m'a juste donné un petit coup de pied.
Elle?
Elle.
Combien de fois on va remettre ça? Alexandre, c'est un garçon.
Alexandra, ça va être une fille. Si.
On se repose un moment?
On the island, all cute moments must come to an end. The team discovers that Nadine is missing. They begin to look for her when something unbelievable happens.
Moi, je vais aller par
Apparently, the island they crashed on has a weird smoke monster on it that likes to kill people. They all sprint through the jungle to try to get away, but that doesn't really help. The monster catches up and grabs Matan. The team, of course, goes after their friend as she's dragged through the jungle. And when Matan is being pulled into a hole, the team do their best to help. And if you guessed that his arm should rip off, you get a gold star, because that's what happened. With a sense of leave no man behind, they all try to go in after him, only Jin stops Russo because she is pregnant. But before you know it, there's a flash in the sky, and Jin disappears right in front of her eyes. 2 months will go by, and it's April 1988. It's clear something weird happened to the rest of her team, and Danielle is forced to shoot them all in self-defense.
Je t'aime, pourquoi j'ai dû comme ça?
Parce que t'es pas Robert. T'es malade. Ce monstre t'a rendu malade.
Mais y a pas de monstre. C'est un système de sécurité qui garde ce temple, c'est tout. Pose ton fusil. Je t'aime, Danielle. Je veux que rien ne nous arrive. À toi et à notre bébé.
Danielle, all alone and pregnant, would venture forth through the jungle to the radio tower and change it to her own distress signal. 3 days later, she gives birth to a healthy baby girl named Alec. Russo's not done with tragedy just yet. Her baby would be kidnapped by people later dubbed the Others.
Don't do it.
You're the one who infected us, aren't you? C'est vous qui nous avez infectés. Non, rendez-moi mon bébé. Non, rendez-moi mon bébé.
It's okay.
Ne l'affectez pas elle aussi. Rendez-moi mon bébé. Ne l'affectez pas elle aussi. Rendez-moi mon bébé. Please, don't take my Alex.
Do you want your baby to live?
Why are you taking her?
Be grateful you're still alive. Now you listen to me. If you try to follow me, or if you ever come looking for me, I'll kill you. And if you want your child to live, every time you hear whispers, you run the other way.
Now here, Danielle's life isn't super documented, but we can make some assumptions. We can assume she definitely went after the others to try to find her kid. She then learned her way around the island. She also mastered making traps and probably fought a bear or two. The traps would eventually pay off because one night, while checking them, she finds a man. She brings him back into her shelter and begins to lightly torture him and question him about Alex. He denies knowing anything, but she's not buying it.
I keep telling you I don't know who Alex is! I'm a survivor of a plane crash. I found a wire on the beach. I followed it. I thought it might have something to do with a transmission we picked up on a receiver. A recording. A mayday. With a French woman repeating on a loop for 16 years.
Has it really been that long?
Yeah.
Yes, it's here Danielle Russo finds out she's been alone on this island for 16 years. The prisoner convinces Russo to let him fix her music box for her, and they begin to talk.
Do you want me to fix your music box, or don't you?
Yes. Yes, please.
Then I want to know your name. Your first name.
Danielle.
And how did you come to be on this island, Danielle?
We were part of a science team.
A science team armed with rifles. Was Robert on the team?
Yes.
And Alex, was he too?
Our vessel was 3 days out of Tahiti when our instruments malfunctioned. It was night. A storm. The sounds. The ship slammed into rocks, ran aground. So, we made camp. Nearly 2 months we survived here. 2 months before. It was them. They were the carriers.
Who were the carriers?
The others.
Have you seen other people on this island?
No. But I hear them. They whisper. You think I'm insane?
I think you've been alone for too long.
The man, whose name is Saeed, fixes Danielle's music box for her and then tries to convince her to let him go.
You need me. You can't leave.
Danielle. Where are you going?
If we're lucky, it's one of the bears.
If we're lucky.
Saeed gets free, grabs a gun, and goes off into the jungle. And Danielle and Saeed become face to face, or rather, gun to gun.
The firing pin has been removed. Robert didn't notice it was missing either.
But you loved him.
He was sick.
Sick.
Took them, one after the other.
You killed them.
What would have happened if we were rescued? I couldn't let that happen. I won't.
I'm not sick.
After a very heartfelt speech, Danielle inevitably lets Saeed go. He even offers to bring her back to his camp with the other survivors from the plane crash, but Danielle Russo will decline the invitation. Now, a lot of Losties question why Danielle didn't just go back to the camp, and I think you kind of learn later on in the series she has a certain philosophy about staying alive on the island. You have to stay agile, you have to stay quick, you have to be able to run and hide, and most importantly, don't put yourself in more danger than you have to be. Russo then goes off into the jungle alone. A couple days later, Russo happens upon a very pregnant lady. She puts two and two together and realizes this is probably a person from the crash, and the people with torches are probably bad guys. So Russo does her best to keep her quiet. However, she's obviously medicated and is being very loud, so she's kind of forced to knock her out. She picks up the pregnant passenger and carries her through the jungle, and she leaves her close enough to her camp that she'll be discovered. Weeks of surviving in the jungle alone would go by until Russo comes across another passenger from the plane, and they have a very interesting conversation.
You must be the French chick.
Who are you?
Hurley? Saeed? That guy you tortured?
They were on the plane.
What do these numbers mean, please?
I don't know. Our ship picked up a transmission. A voice repeating those numbers. We changed course to investigate. After we shipwrecked, my team continued to search for the transmission source. Some of us continued to search for the meaning of those numbers while we waited for rescue. But then the sickness came. When my team was gone, I went back up to the tower and changed the transmission.
That distress signal we heard.
Yes.
But the numbers. Did you ever find out anything about them? They bring bad stuff to everyone around you. They're cursed. The numbers are cursed.
The numbers are what brought me here. As it appears, they've brought you. Since that time, I've lost everything. Everyone I cared about. So yes, I suppose you're right. They are cursed.
Thank you. You have no idea how long I've been waiting for someone to agree with me. Thank you. Oh, God, thank you. Thank you so much.
She then gives him a battery that he needs and sends him on his way. And I just want to point out, this is one of my favorite little moments. This is literally the first hug Danielle has had in 16 years. Danielle would soon see a pillar of black smoke coming off from the distance. The same smoke she saw before the others came to take her baby. So she goes to the Losties camp to warn them.
You have only 3 choices. Run. Hide. Or die.
They choose hide. Apparently, the plane crash survivors have found a hatch on the island, but they cannot get it open. So they talk Danielle into taking a small group to go get some dynamite. She leads them through the forest. A few things happen. It rains, of course, and they have a brief encounter with the smoke monster, but everyone ends up okay.
In here.
Eventually, they get to the black rock where the dynamite is, and she leaves them to their business. Russo heads back to the plane crash survivors camp. Now, I don't know if this is pre-planned or spur of the moment, but Russo and Claire end up being alone together. Claire then sees the scratches on Russo's arms and remembers giving them to her, but she doesn't remember the complete story because she was a little high and got knocked in the head. A kerfuffle will happen, and Claire gets knocked in the head again, but this time, Russo will steal her baby. Saeed, with the help of Claire's friend Charlie, will go after her.
She's insane.
Don't try to apply reason to her actions. She's a mother who lost a child, just like Claire.
Eventually, they catch up to Danielle Russo and try to convince her to give the baby back.
They were not here.
Danielle, you have to give us the baby.
I just wanted my Alex back. I thought if I gave them the baby,
It's okay. There never were any others. You started the fires yourself.
I heard them whispering.
You're a nutjob. You heard nothing.
I heard them say they were coming for the child.
You're pathetic.
Days will go by, and Russo is called upon by Claire with the help of her friend Kate. Claire is looking for something, and she wants some answers. She demands that Russo takes her back to the medical hatch, because she assumes Russo is one of the others. Russo takes her as far as she can, and Claire gets kind of angry. But luckily, Claire's memory comes back, and she's able to fill in the gaps and lead them all to the medical hatch. Now, Claire doesn't really find what she's looking for, but she does get most of her memories back, and she realizes one thing.
You weren't trying to take me back, were you? You were trying to save me.
I carried you on my back to your camp. I left you where they would find you.
Sorry.
The walk back to camp is totally a bummer. Danielle Russo decides to vanish into the jungle again, but before she does, Claire decides to tell Russo about how she actually escaped the medical hatch.
I remember a girl with blue eyes. She helped me. She saved me. Just like you did. She wasn't like the others. She was good.
For the first time in forever, Danielle has actual confirmation that her daughter is alive and might be a good person. Danielle is again later called upon by the Lost crew. Unfortunately, a few members of their party had been kidnapped. A couple of them escaped, but one is left behind. And Kate calls upon Russo to help get that lostie back.
I came to ask for your help.
What makes you think I have an interest in helping you?
Because they had me, and they would have never let me go. Probably would have killed me if I hadn't escaped. And the girl will help me escape. She was about 16 years old. And her name was Alex. I'm pretty sure that she's your daughter.
Danielle, of course, says yes, so she leads a small group throughout the jungle. On the journey, they come across a weird house that no one has ever seen before. They want to investigate, but Danielle's like, no, and she goes off to the jungle.
Hey, where are you going?
I have no interest in that man inside the house. I have survived on the island precisely by avoiding these types of encounters. I'll wait for you by the stream.
Chaos ensues, and they sort of end up with a hostage. With the help of the hostage, the crew finds the others' camp. They do have to jump over a supersonic, death fence to get in, but they do that. Everyone's fine, and they get to see what the kidnapped passenger is up to. Turns out he's fine. He's playing football with this guy. Everything seems okay. So Danielle disappears so she can see if she can find Alex. Night falls, and there, Danielle Russo gets the first glimpse of her daughter. 8 or 9 days later, Danielle Russo is called upon again by the plane crash crew. They need dynamite from the Black Rock for part of a 3-part plan. And this is going to need some explaining. A woman named Naomi crashes on the island from a helicopter as part of a research team. Turns out there's a freighter not far from the island, but they need to do a couple things to get a signal to the freighter. 1. Use the dynamite to blow up the others. 2. Send a team to an underground hatch to turn off a signal jammer. And 3. Danielle Russo leads everyone to the radio tower so she can turn off her original signal.
Take you to the tower, but I'm not leaving the island.
What?
There's no place for me back there.
Before they get to the tower, they are stopped by Benjamin Linus. He thinks being saved is a bad idea. Words are exchanged and a fight totally breaks out, and Ben is kind of badly beaten. But it does lead to the reunion we were all waiting for.
Alex. This is your mother.
Will you help me tie him up?
Despite some hiccups, everything seems to be working out. It seems the survivors are going to be saved. Never mind, here comes another hiccup. One of the plane crash survivors named John Locke throws a knife in Naomi's back because he believes these people aren't here to save them. There's a bit of a standoff and there's some guns, but inevitably they do get a signal out and it looks like everyone is about to get saved. Ben looks very frightened about this and decides to ask Danielle Russo something.
I need you to take Alex and get as far from here as possible.
What?
Listen to me, we don't have time for this. Everyone who stays here is going to die. Now get Alex and get away right now. I don't care where you go. Just go. I will not have my daughter.
She's not your daughter.
The group splits up, but they all happen to run into each other later that night, and they discuss what to do. There are two factions that form, one group wanting to stay on the island, the other wanting to leave. Danielle joins the faction that wants to stay on the island. She brings along prisoner Ben, her daughter Alex, and her daughter's boyfriend Carl. Danielle helps the John Locke squad get to the barracks. Now we learn throughout the series, there were two types of people on the freighter set to save, quote-unquote, the people on the island. One, researchers. Their job is to strictly learn about the island. The other type of person, mercenaries.
Don't worry, Kate, it's fine.
Their job is to find Benjamin Linus by any means necessary. Ben, knowing that people are here for him and knowing how dangerous it can be, decides to ask Danielle for the same favor he did before. Get Alex to safety.
What do you want?
This is a map to the temple. It's a sanctuary. It may be the last safe place on this island.
How come we don't know about this?
Well, it wouldn't be a sanctuary if I told everyone, would it? The rest of our people are already there. If you leave now, you can get there in a day and a half.
If it's safe, why don't we all go? Hurley, Claire, the baby?
Because the temple's not for them, Carl. It's only for us. These people that are coming, they know who I am, Alex. They're here to capture me. They'll kill anybody that gets in their way. If they knew who you were, that you were my daughter, they would use you to get to me. We don't have much time.
Maybe he's right. I agree. We should go.
Stop here and drink. 2 minutes. Then we keep moving.
Promise not to tell if you won't.
Alex! Go! Alex! Carl! Carl! No! Come on. No! Come on, he's gone! Don't! No, we have to get Carl! He's gone! He's gone! No. He's gone! Listen to me. I need you to take my hand. On the count of 3, we're going to run. Can you do that with me? I love you. I love you very much, Alexandra. Are you ready? 1, 2. Breathe.
Yep, that's it for our favorite French woman. But have no fear, we do get to see her a little bit in the flash sideways. She is part of Ben's story.
Hey, Mom. Is it okay if we give Dr. Linus a ride home?
course. After everything you've done for my daughter, a ride is the least we can do. I'm Danielle.
Benjamin Linus.
Hey, Mom, can Dr. Linus come over for dinner? It's Coco Van night.
Oh, that's really not
No,
necessary.
we insist, even if we have to kidnap you. In that blood. Dr. Linus, thank you. It's so nice to be able to cook for someone other than Alex.
If you don't mind my asking, where is her father?
He died when Alex was 2. That's probably why she's so attached to you.
Excuse me?
All the interest you've taken in her. All the help you've given. You're the closest thing to a father she's ever had. Are you all right?
I'm fine. I'm sure it's the onions.
I'll put in less next time.
And that's the end of the video. Thanks for making it to the end. If you liked the video, hit like. If you didn't like the video, hit dislike. That's cool too. If you have a character you'd like me to do, right now I'm working on Hurley, leave it in the comments below. And, thanks. Bye.